a bit. Okay, so class, let's take a look. Okay, class, we are in the chapter 3. We are about in the development of the firm right view by profound faith and understanding. Okay. So we are in the section of component of the right view. We talk about good and evil, karma and retribution, previous and the future life, and worldly being and sages. Actually, we are in the karma and retribution. Okay. Class, please off your mic. Okay. Okay, class, once we talk about karma and the retribution, we talk about the moment before near-death movement. Why? Because what karma arise before we die, the karma will determine which destiny we go. Okay, there's a 3 type of karma. We decide where we go. Number 1 is the heavy karma. Heavy karma can be good and can be bad. The good heavy karma means the jhana. The bad heavy karma meaning to say that you have done some, maybe you kill your father, mother, or this type of heavy karma. Okay, basically they are the one who come first and bring us to the destiny. If you practice a good jhana, if you attain a good jhana before you pass away, then you will be reborn as a deva. And if let's say you create a very bad karma, the heavy karma, so you immediately go to the hell. Second is the habitual karma. Habitual karma meaning to say that you have a good habitual or have a bad habitual. Habitual meaning to say from the 5 precepts is enough to know. Maybe you have a habitual of giving, you have a habitual for being stingy, you have a habitual to save the beings, or you have the habitual for bad mouth. So all this habitual, since the if let's say with the presence of the heavy karma, the habitual karma will take place, and also will the habitual karma will decide where is your next destination. All right. If without the habitual karma, so number 3rd one is it depends on what wind blow you. So we need to say that if without the presence of these 2 karma, and you are rich, okay, there will be some conflict between a family member. You are able to hear it, and then you will die. You will die with anger, and finally, maybe you fall to the evil destiny. But if let's say a family member, they ask the monk come and do the chanting for you, or they ask the monk and come and do the chanting for you, or maybe the people come to recall you, to keep on recall you whatever good deed you have done before. So all this will decide your good destination, your finally destination. Okay, and if you remember, there's one cases mentioned that say if let's say even though every day a guy asked a monk that if even though I have a good habitual karma, okay, but let's say I died accidentally, okay, in scared, so where will I be reborn? So Buddha said, no need to worry. It's just like if let's say you do a very good habitual karma, it's just like you try to sawing the tree, seeing the tree, and the tree is about to decide. So even though you once you die immediately in an accident, like in car accident, so the tree eventually still fall to this side. So meaning to say that your habitual karma and the heavy karma is very strong. The accident would influence your destination. So meaning to say that it is important you do the karma practice every day. You must make it habitual. The habitual karma will decide where you go. So you can ask yourself, what is your habitual now? Because your recent habitual will decide where you go. If it is good, of course, you just continue to read. If it is bad, you have to look for some way to change it. What is the habitual reasoning you always recurring in your mind? Okay. Okay, one question for you all before we proceed. Okay, if let's say there's a Christian if let's say your father passed away, okay, not good. If one of your good friend passed away and he is the Christian, okay, so you go to attend the funeral ceremony. So what are you going to chant so that it's considered as a good decision? He's a Christian. You are the Buddhist. Okay. Yes, SJ, will you chant the Bible to him, or you will chant Amitabha as you believe?
I chant Amitabha.
You chant Amitabha to him. Okay. Yes, how about Gamling? Which one you choose?
I'm not sure. Just go and say, I'm not good at chanting, so I won't chant.
Okay. How about Yongxin? Which one you choose?
If at ceremony, will follow the group. If personal, will do what I know.
Okay. So the answer lah. Okay, meaning it depends on situation. How about Junjie?
If I know Bible, then I will give him the Bible. Yeah.
Okay, chant Bible lah. All right. Okay, if you know, even though maybe you finally are Buddhist. Yeah, actually the answer, you should follow their wish. Why? Because their perception is the Christian base, you see. So they are they feel comfortable with the Christian. So at this moment, we should just, try to fulfill their view. That's the best place. Okay. It is not good. We try to, we do our style, because if they cannot adapt very well, they will feel angry. Finally, it may lead them to the evil destination. And the worst, maybe next life, SJ, he will become your son or your daughter, and then always against with you. Because you make him die without peaceful. So next life, he become your son or daughter, so he won't let you, for the whole life, for being peaceful and live it peacefully, you see. So always remember, for our theory, we always we never go against with the people's last will. We follow their belief. It's the best decision. Okay. I remember some guy who have a third eye, he mentioned to me, sometimes he managed to see, once people pass away, he is able to see the aura, he is able to see the deva, and he was once to see the angel, the angel with the wings, So he guessed, there must be Christian pass away. So once you really go, really the Christian pass away. So meaning to say that different religions, they have a different dharma protector, they have a different deva. So meaning to say that we should enhance the belief and try to strengthen their goodwill, their favorable consciousness, so that he will pass away according to his religion. So you get it? Okay, so that's supposed to be the way. But anyway, if let's say like Yongxin, if you do individually, maybe you are not, because you're not familiar Bible, right? Anyway, you still can do the mantra chanting, but you transfer the merit, will be transfer the energy. You understand? Okay. Well, if let's say in terms of energy, there's no difference between a Christian or Buddhism. There's no difference, because you just send your goodwill, your energy. So once the energy go to him, the energy all will integrate well. They will be wellly integrate together, and finally will bring him to the good destination. But anyway, if in the group, better we follow, because most of the people are very particular to the culture, to the text. They're very particular. Most of the people, very few people are able to see actually energy is behind everything. Once you go to that level, there's no much different already. The conventional truth is inapplicable at that level, in the energy level, because all energy is the positive. They will be all integrate together. Okay, get it? Okay. So meaning to say that it seems you all are quite smart also. We can come up with a good opinion together. Yeah, coming any question? Yes.
You mentioned about habitual tendency. Is it normal life, or what type of habitual?
Yes, in the normal life. Meaning to say that habitual tendency, meaning to say, okay, once you are sleeping, what are you thinking? Once you are very awake, what are you thinking? Okay, and once you are alive, what is your choice? So that is your habituality. As I know, some mathematicians mentioned that for those who are able to get the Nobel Prize, the mathematicians say that you must be always thinking the mathematics, even though you are dreaming. So this is how we see whether you are an excellent mathematician or not. It's the same as a religion practitioner. If you are the good Buddhism, maybe in your mind always you are chanting the Abhidhamma, or maybe you are always thinking with the good deed, or maybe for Jing Jue always thinking with the software, because you are at that area. So this is your habitual. Okay, maybe for me as a master, I always think with the dharma. So that is our habitual. So you get it, Kamling? Okay, it's the same like for the doctor. Nowadays, doctor can get a very good earning, especially in private hospital. If let's say the habitual is thinking about the patients, okay, so that is a good favorable consciousness. But if let's say the habitual is thinking how to making the money more, also that will be that is not a good habitual consciousness already. Do you get it, Kamling? So you can interview some doctor. You see, what's the habitual? You think patient more, you think money
No
more.
need to interview a doctor. Can see some of their attitude one. Then you ask for
yeah.
you ask for some discount. You know already. What is
Yeah, you know already. So you see, this is the habitual. Of course, we are not criticizing a doctor but we just let you know the difference is there. You know what is the habitual that will decide where you go already. Okay. But anyway, we'll go deeper, analyze the 5 precepts, then you can know better for yourself. And sometimes when you have some bad habitual, it's not easy to change. There will be no matter good or bad habitual, there will be some condition behind. There must be some condition behind to make you always repeat it. Okay. So anyway, since we learn Buddhism, you must be able to break the norm. That's why you come here. We'll tell you some method to break the norm. Okay. Basically, we'll keep on, especially the bad habitual. There must be joy behind the habitual. The habitual, you must have some joy behind it, and you cannot let go the joy, and you cannot find the alternative. If you got the alternative, and the alternative can lead you the joy, which is better quality than the bad habitual, you will give it up. But if you're going to give it up, meaning to say that you still feel to find the alternative, okay, which carry the joy equivalent to it. And second, you don't really understand the shortcoming of the present habitual, the bad habitual. You don't really understand, you don't really feel the dangerous behind the bad habitual karma. Then that's the reason why you just keep on indulging in the bad habitual. Okay, Kamling, do you get it? Okay, so this is some rules. You really to think of for it. Anyway, the way I see, most of the people still look very young. You still have you have longer time for you to change it. Okay, whereas for Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, they're about 70 already. So the time limit is more short already. So they have to work harder than you all. Okay, so now we go to the new paragraph. Okay, Amanda, can you please read it out the next paragraph? We are in this paragraph. Okay, sorry, no, first is the category of serious karma, second is the habitual karma we mentioned, and the third one is the dying moment. Okay, so we all finish all this, all right? Now we go to next in the circle. Yes, Amanda?
In the circle of birth and death, sentient beings cannot be independent, for they are controlled by karmic forces. The present life, after an interval following death, will change into a new life, a future rebirth. The previous and future lives are neither the same nor different, neither extinct nor permanent, and the continuation from previous lives to future lives is profound, too subtle to be seen physically. The sages have no doubt that karma brings result and that death and birth continue. Those who have attained the transcendent power of the divine eye can completely understand this. Non-Buddhists can do so as well. Some of them have a more or less confident understanding of the karmic result of past and future lives. For the general layperson without pure wisdom, however, what lies before birth and after death is too obscure. They know nothing about it. Although there are a few who can recall previous causes and past lives, these people are not recognized by worldly materialists. The best thing to do, therefore, is practice according to the Buddha Dharma, attain pure wisdom, and with the transcendental power of the divine eyes realize this issue personally. Apart from this direct experience, one can only believe in the Tathagata's teaching and have a confident understanding through deductive reasoning.
Okay, thank you so much. Let us digest. Oh yeah, I want to create more clear example how to transfer the energy. Just recently, my auntie passed away. She is a Christian. Basically, I will just say I will do my mantra chanting, but then I will transfer merit with the wording that okay, may my auntie always with his God. So something like that. You transfer the merit. Don't say please go to Western Pure Land. Not right, already. Yeah, because they go different way. You don't pull him to the Western Pure Land. That's not right. So we will transfer the merit according they want to go. But the method to concentrate, we are still using our way because we are not familiar their way. So like Junji, you do Anapanasati, you do Anapanasati, then you transfer the merit. Say, oh, may you always be your God. Something like that. So this is the meaning. Transfer the energy. Get it? Well, the way I see some Christian, they are very, how to say, they're quite stubborn. They prefer convert you to their religions because some perception that if you don't believe the God, you will fall to the hell. The logic is so simple only. If you believe, and then you go to the heaven. So they always stick to it. So they will try their hard just to twist you no matter what you see. So it's very rigid, but it's very the religion teaches very important because they must be able to interpret it flexibility, or you cannot survive nowadays. You cannot sustain nowadays because nowadays people they are very smart and they are exposed to the internet. You see, so flexibility is very important to make us more open. Okay, next let's take a look. Thumb up, please, once you finish. Thumb up by Zoom if you finish highlighting. Junjie, wrong. Not this thumb up. You have to go to the participants to get the blue hand. The blue hand is correct because it will count for me. Kamling, you also get the wrong icon also. Kamling, you should go to the participants. Okay, maybe Amanda, you try to make them know. Yeah, Junji, you got it already. Okay.
师父， I think the correct is called raise hand.
Raise
Raise
hand.
hand.
Thumb up.
Raise hand.
Raise hand. Yeah, raise hand. You go to
Raise
the
hand.
participants. Okay. Everybody got already. Yes.
Oh,
Can you please put down your hand now? All right. Okay. Okay, class. Basically, this paragraph mentioned how do we know our past life? Basically, what our future life for sage is starting. Not no much problem with the sage. Sage mean is the arahant. They will know it very well. But for people like us, you can know it either by your divine eye, open the divine eye, the third eye, or maybe by understanding with the sutra. Basically, using your third eye to see that thing is still not common, because not everybody so easily can, to attain to the fourth jhana. And even though, there's still minority within those who are able to attain the fourth jhana are able to open the third eye, because psychic is not easy also. So generally people, they through their belief to the sutra. So the belief is very hard to say. If you are the analytical mind people, basically you want proof. Basically you want more facts in order to have a belief. Okay, it's harder for you to believe just purely from the sutra or the text. But for certain type of people, like maybe they're not highly educated or uncle auntie, they have faith on the sutra. Once there's a sutra stated, that immediately they got faith already. So for this type of people, they can easily have faith, just whatever mentioned by the sutra. So this type of people, they can easily attain jhana compared to the analytical mind people also at the same time. So this is a two-way of how do you believe the past, the future life, or where are you going to be born? Okay, basically class, even though the non-Buddhists, they are able to know it, because for non-Buddhists, like the yogaism and the Taoism, their jhana also quite high. As long as they are able to focus and concentrate, maybe with their own religious method, they are able to open their third eye and able to see, our future life. They are able to do so. Okay, so we go to the next paragraph. Kamling, your turn to read, please. Okay, for beginners. On the mic, please, Kamling.
For beginners, these teachings are not easy to understand. To illustrate the idea of rebirth, the analogy of flames can be used. As Zhuangzi said, the wood fire continues to burn without coming to an end. The great Master Huiyan, AD 344 to 416 of Mount Lu, has also used this analogy to illustrate the principle of the continuation of birth and death. A piece of wood burns brightly until the wood is consumed and the flame dies out. But while the embers are still warm, immediately another piece of wood is lit and the flame becomes strong again. The first piece of wood is not the same as the second piece, and the later flame is not the previous flame. Yet it cannot be said that the later flame did not come from the first. Similarly, when the life activities of the previous life stop, another new life begins. The previous life is not the same as the life that comes later. Yet this later life comes from the karmic force of the previous life. Between death and birth, however, there may be a gap in time and space. This gap needs to be explained. According to the profound meaning of the Buddha Dharma, physical and mental activities are manifested in life forms. When one dies, one's body and mind dies instantly, and all the present overt physical and mental activities stop. But the past physical and mental activities still exist. After the extinction and passing of karma, the function of karma as a potential for life does not disappear. When the causes and conditions become matured, the past karmic force will bring forth a new physical and mental activities to begin a new life. Hence, the analogy of consuming wood fire is again useful. When the wood is burning with bright flames, this is like the overt activities of life. When it stops burning and the flames die out, this is like the life that ends in death. When the fire stops, the hot ashes seems to cool down. But if they comes into contact with some flammable substances and a light wind is blowing, the dying ash can burn again with strong flames. Likewise, when causes and conditions are aligned, past karmic forces can bring forth a new life.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe okay, Yukwa, can you please continue read this paragraph, which is quite relevant.
The frame from the dying ash is not the previous frame, yet it has an inseparable relationship with it. In the same way, the future life is not the same as the previous one, but is related to the karma of that life. From the earlier fire to the later, there may be an interval which corresponds to the gap in times and space between the previous and future lives. This is really just a metaphor. However, according to the Buddha Dharma, past karmic forces cannot really be said to be divisible into segments of times and space because the nature of things is illusory and empty. It can only be said that when causes and conditions are aligned, being born as a human requires the joining of the father's sperm and mother's egg. They can suddenly bring forth a new life, the new beginning of physical and mental activities in different times and space.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you raise hand, please, once to finish? Okay, thank you so much. Let's take a look. You can put down your hand. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is the flame we mentioned. Okay, but this is not that good. What I like is not the why just Olympic only. I want this. The wood is the better analogy. You see. Okay, according to our cause of effect, the karmic force, in order to explain from this life to the other life, usually the fire state is the good example for it. You see, class, let's take a look. Once you pass away, once you pass away, basically, due to our ignorance and also our craving, okay, immediately the next stick of the fire immediately fire out. And then the stick, the fire is from this fire stick to this fire stick, okay, and this fire stick will continue burn, okay, and then it will burn, become the ashes, okay, before become ashes, meaning to say that we continue our next life again. So once the next life begin, meaning to say the fire will from this flame, from this state to another state. So according to our theory of the karma, meaning to say that the fire from this state and the second state, they are different. It looks same, you see, both are fire, but they are different. Why? Because the fire, the previous stick and the second stick, the fire are quite different because they are with the different stick, right? But the way we see is quite same because they are both of fire. This is how we explain our karmic force. Meaning to say that our karma, okay, from this life to the next life, okay, when we pass away, next life, okay, like Jing Jue, this is this life, okay. Next life, you call Mr. A, okay. So we can say that Mr. A is not you. Of course, it's not you, because he is already Mr. A, okay, with a different father and mother. Biological is different already, okay. But you can't say he is totally separable from you. Why? Because Mr. A can become a human is due to Jing Jue have done some good deed, and Jing Jue, a lot of your karma will carry forward to the next life. Do you get it? And it will determine how he look for, how is his wealth, and many things. Everything is quite related to you. And also, of course, he had some present effort have to be count on, so that we will see, so that the last result is the accumulation between the past life and the present life. So do you get it? So this is the understanding of the karma forces, okay, by using this stick as an example. It's very common for us to use this example in order to understand the relationship between this present life and the future life. Okay. Amanda, question, yes.
So the karmic forces doesn't guarantee us for a new life, right? It depends how many evil karmic that we have done. It could be you are in the hell realm. It doesn't directly link to a new life, is it?
Oh, okay. No. Okay. See whether am I answering your question. Basically, as I say, we got three types of karma. If you have a heavy karma will bring you to the evil destiny, the bad one. Okay. If you don't have the heavy karma, it's the habitual karma will lead you to whether the evil destiny or the good destiny. So yes, the karma decide. What's your question? I still don't understand.
I'm saying that because as a human, you do good deeds and bad deeds at the same time. You may not know or aware which one you have done more sometimes. Of course, if it's a heavy karma, that one is very obvious. But sometimes at the end of our life and our last breath, we may not know whether your karmic will be carrying you to a new life or going to the hell directly. Because what I understand is some of the people, after they die, they may not go to a new life straight away. They will go to maybe the animal realm, or they'll go to a hungry ghost realm first. Before they clear up their karma, then they only get back another life to reborn as a human. Is that the understanding?
Okay. Well, actually, the law of karma will manifest at the moment you pass away. Okay, whether there's a deficit or surplus of your karma, you know at the last moment already. You understand now? Okay, for example, okay, if let's say, okay, maybe I put it this way, for the last 10 years before you pass away, okay, so maybe Amanda, you keep on listening to the dharma, okay, so this is the karma you create for every day. You listen 1.5 hour dharma, okay, then you do the meditation another half an hour, so we got 2 hours. You do all the good karma already, right? Okay, and yet maybe you said that okay, you prefer shopping, you also keep on buying every day. Maybe every day you spend 1 hour in shopping, something like that. Okay, so in the last 5 years, meaning to say, if you count 2 hours of the good deeds of meditation and the dharma listening, and 1 hour crazy shopping for continuous 5 years, finally, sure, the good karma are stronger. So they will bring you to the good destiny. Okay. But of course, once they bring you to the good destiny, for example, within this 5 lives, you keep on eating a lot of seafood. Okay. Involve some killing also. Even though you reborn as a human, but the bad karma also come together with you. So maybe the consequences you will have. Your health is bad. You are human. Why? Because the good karma is strong to make you become a human. But at the same time, whatever you did in your past life is still following you. So you get a worse body. You become not healthy. Okay. So for example, opposite. If let's say you do a lot of killing. Maybe eat a lot of seafood. A lot, quite a number. But same, every day 2 hour meditation and also dharma you are learning. Okay. So finally, since the karma is heavy, you become an animal. All right. For example, you become animal. But due to your good karma is so strong, the good karma will shorten your life as an animal and make you become the human very soon. Why? Because the good karma you create in the past life, you try to shorten the lifespan as an animal. They will become obstacle for the karma as an animal. So you will come back again, become human, maybe very short time. So am I answering you? Get it? So whatever you did is very fair. It's very fair. Even though, meaning to say that, even though finally you are very good luck, you reborn as a deva. Okay, even though you kill a lot, but as deva, your lifespan as a deva will not be a very long one. And basically, most of the deva, they with the aura, they have a fragrance, they always wear the beautiful garment. But since you create so many bad karma, right? So your life will be shortened, and your body is not as fragrant as other deva, and you are not as beautiful, and you are not radiant you are not radiant compared with other deva. So this is the reason why you are, even though you have become deva, you are not that good, because all the bad karma in the previous life will take effect at that life. Okay, Amanda, got it? Okay, Mr. Leong, question? Yes.
Yes, Sifu. In the book, here says, between death and birth, however, there may be a gap in time and space.
Yeah.
But to my understanding, this may be the intermediate state. But in the Abhidhamma, they says that death and rebirth is immediate. So is it not consistent in the Abhidhamma? Can Sifu explain?
Yes, this is no consistency. Why? Because the theory we are learning now is from the Sarvastivada, from the school of the Sarvastivada, which is more common and popular after pass away of Buddha, after Parinibbana, and more common in the West, not okay, Xi-Beiying or Xi-Bei, your west north of the Indian, all right?
West.
But for Abhidhamma, it's more common, it's spreading after Buddha Parinibbana, it starts spreading to Sri Lanka. So there is no interval. for Theravada nowadays. So that's why in Theravada you don't see they do 超度法會 because without interval, without Antarabhawa, you can't do 超度法會. But for Mahayana, for Chinese Buddhism, they inherit the teaching from the Sarvastivada and also the Mahayana, and also including the Tibetan Buddhism. There is Antarabhawa. We call it as an Antarabhawa. Yes, there's no consistency. You can't say which one is right or wrong, but basically it's due to their own development. But for Theravada, they will explain that the Antarabhawa is the gap. They will explain maybe this is they become a hungry ghost a very short time and then immediately they're reborn again. They have their way to explain, but you can't see the word of Antarabhawa in their text. Okay, Mr. Lam, get it? Okay. Sure, no consistency due to the different school of thought. Okay, so let me try to explain further here. So, okay, I would like to explain is about the terminology. Okay, one is about the Hui Yuan. Anybody already decide for Western Pure Land? Please put up your hand. You will choose chanting Western Pure Land as your final destination. Who? Okay, Mrs. Yeah, 3 people already. 4, sorry. Okay, if you choose the method, you have to know who is the Hui Yuan in the Mao Lu. Why? Hui Yuan is the first patriarch in China who launching the chanting of Amitabha. He's the number 1. He is the leader. So you have to know him. And the mountain Lu is Lu San. Let me show you where is it. Maybe one day after the MCO, you have excessive money because nowhere to spend. 4 of you preferably go to the mountain Lu. This is the first patriarch in China because whatever you learn is from him. You see, you should go to commemorate him. You see, the figure is about more than 1,600 years from now. You see, Hui Yuan Da Shi. You see, 1,600 years. So this is where is it? Let me show you. This is the mountain Lu, Google Map. Lu San. Lu San. Lu Shan. Let's see. Lu Shan. Okay, so this is the Hui Yuan Da Shi. Okay, I think the image not that accurate because already 1,600 years ago, the first patriarch of the Western Pure Land, so it's the Hui Yuan Da Shi. Okay, so the place is in the Lu San. I can show you. Lu San, you have to choose the China, Jiujiang. Here's the place. We use Beijing as a benchmark. Let's take a look. Beijing. Beijing as a benchmark. Yes, it's about 13-hour traveling journey from Beijing. Let's take a look. So this is the Lushan. See or not? Here is the Malaysia. So you can come to the Lushan. Here is it. So this is the place. And then maybe we just roughly have a look to the Lushan. It's in the Jiangxi, Zhongguo. So, wow, it's so beautiful. Wow. Ayo, hey Elena, immediately next flight, next destination, okay? Wow, I don't know, so beautiful, you see? Oh, this is where the first patriarch, you know, no wonder he is so smart to choose this place, you see. Oh, hey Elena, Kumara Suchiwa, oh, I mean, after he entered to the China, I mean, after he entered to the Xi'an, immediately he contact with the Lushan. They have a communication between Kumara Suchiwa and also the Huiyuan. Because Huiyuan is very famous at that time. Huiyuan is the one who encouraged the king to grab Kumara Suchiwa from Xinjiang and grab him back. Because he's very famous monk, you know, at that time, you know. There's a recommendation from a Huiyuan. So they got history between them. So after the class, if you're interested, you can do some study between, I mean, the Lushan, the Huiyuan Dashi, and the Kumara Jiwa. Kumara Jiwa. So, oh, the place is so wonderful, you see. Okay. Maybe you have to look for the temple. There must be one temple in the Lushan. Okay, so you're able to see the Huiyuan Dashi. Let me check the temple. Okay. 寺院. This is the temple class. Take a look. Yes, this is the temple. You see, the temple is still here. Even 1,600 years ago, you see, class. This is the temple. Yuhua, you can copy down Dongling Si. Dongling Si is the first patriarch of the Western Pure Land in China. The temple named Dongling Si. So the place is still here, you see. Yeah, so you ask Elena organized the trip. Elena is very expert in traveling. And then you will have to go because you can translate the Mandarin because they are all banana. They don't know what Lusa, what Dongling Si. You can help out in the translation. And then you can go there to commemorate. It can make you and bring up you more faith to the method you are using. You see. Yeah, Mr. Leon, any question?
Yes, Sifu. Regarding this, the first patriarch is Huiyuan. He is the first patriarch to receive the light from Bodhidharma, is it?
No. Okay, Huiyuan is the one. Okay, after the translation of the Amitabha Sutra from Kumara Suchiwa, okay, Huiyuan is the one who learned who learned this sutra, and he became the expert in this sutra. And from here, he started to establish the chanting of the Buddha name, Western Pure Land, in Lushan. So he has nothing to do with the Bodhidharma. It's a different. Bodhidharma is in Shaolin. Shaolin is quite far away from Lushan. Okay, so let me get it. So anyway, Shaolin can become your Elena next traveling destination. You can look for the Bodhidharma. Actually, Bodhidharma is quite famous. Is due to what? It's due to the Zen. Basically, the first patriarch of the Zen, we call it from the Bodhidharma, and Bodhidharma is inherited from Shakyamuni. So basically, if they want to trace back their inheritance, Bodhidharma is number one. Then it will be the first patriarch of the Zen, okay, and second patriarch, third patriarch. So Bodhidharma is also a very important figure in the Buddhism in China. Why he is so famous? Because during once Bodhidharma reached to China, he met the Liang, Emperor of Liang. Emperor Liang is a Buddhist, and he is very proud of himself for establishment of many temples, offering many monks. So he asked the Bodhidharma, he said, how much merit did I accrue by doing so many things? See, it seems that the Emperor Liang is waiting for the recognition from a monk, you know. But finally, Bodhidharma said, no merit. So meaning to say, you don't make a good friend, so you can't even continue a conversation, right? So Bodhidharma finally go to the Shaolin, and Emperor Liang also feel disappointed because I think Bodhidharma should speak maybe diplomatically, or never mind, or make the king happy, because they are very powerful to establish many temples, you know. According to the history of Buddhism, during the Liang dynasty, at that era, the number of the temple is about, I think, how many? I think thousands of the temple, in China, and the number of the monks is about 40,000, just like the number of Myanmar nowadays, So the king play very influential roles in the China Buddhism, you see. But everything is due to them, but they can ruin everything at the same time. So in the history of Buddhism, they got 4 kings, they ruin the whole Buddhism, They just try to demolish all the temple, force all the monk and nun, disrobe, and burn all the sutra, So you see, the king, they are, the merit is due to them, and the ruin also due to them. So that is what happened in history. So that's why you better don't offend all the king or maybe the government. You can offend them because they are so powerful. But nowadays I noticed the power had already been transferred from the king and government to who? Jun Jie, you think to who? To who? Jun Jie?
Supposed to be to the rakyat.
Oh, to internet. Who can control the internet? Who have the world? Am I right? Not the riot is in the internet nowadays. So as long as you can destroy all the server, or you can't destroy it. Even though the king, you deny, but of course, I think the king can ban, like Brunei, I heard that maybe after a few years, they will just shut out all the server related to other religions. They can do that. If they are not able to shut it down, so the religion will be still they will be flourishing according to the internet. Am I right, Junjie? Who can master the internet? Who have the world nowadays? So we don't depend on the king already, no more. But anyway, if you go to the China, it's good for you to study the history, especially the root of Buddhism due to the king. It can make you more patriotic. Especially you feel very you feel very sad wow, you see that how the rule by the king, you see. So you'll be more patriotic. It is good you understand the history of Buddhism by knowing the rule of the king by the king. Okay, so next paragraph we go. Okay, so we finished all this already. Okay, now we go to the all the same already. I mentioned all already. Okay, so now we go to the last one, the existence of ordinary people and the sages. Okay, yeah, Junjie haven't read it yet, right, Junjie? Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Okay. The existence of ordinary people and sages. Although birth and death continue among sentient beings, the sages can find emancipation, the difference between ignorance and wisdom, one leading to bondage, the other lead to emancipation, should be believed deeply and without doubt. The fourth right view is that there are both ordinary people and sages. It is rare to have the right view about good and evil, about karma and its result, and about past and future life. But if one does not believe in the blissful state of an emancipated sage, one's life is really miserable. The continuous cycling of the transmigration in the 5 destinies, with their endless round of birth and death, are the never-ending scene of human tragedy. How can they ever end? Life is definitely not as hopeless as this. If one firmly believes that sages have attained the bliss of emancipation, one can progress upward and break through the darkness and develop boundless brightness. From the beginningless time, sentient beings have been continuously cycling through birth and death in the 5 destinies. Such is the fate of the worldly people. But the sages, through practice, have attained realization and emancipation from birth and death. How can someone be reckoned to be a sage? The sage is one who has faultless pure wisdom and realizes the nature of the Dharma and true reality of all Dharmas. Such a one is not to be confused with those who are worldly sages by conventional designation. Sages of different levels of attainment, but all fundamentally differ from worldly people in having pure wisdom and realization. What does emancipation mean? It means to be untied and set free. While in the cycle of death, birth and death, sentient beings are not free. They are tangled as if caught in the net. Having attained pure wisdom, the sages have severed the affliction, the roots of birth and death.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sifu.
Let's see first. One more paragraph, two more paragraph. Okay. Okay, class. The fault of the right view is by recognition the existence of the sage and the worldly people. Well, this is very important because once you believe there's a sage, and the sage is the one who experienced the emancipation and totally entitled and free from the reincarnation. So do you remember this is the diagram we used to describe the reincarnation? See, so this is the diagram, okay, to describe the reincarnation. For sage, he is already break the circle of the reincarnation, meaning to say that no more suffering, no more reincarnation. Even though in the reincarnation, you become a deva, or sometimes you become a rich people, you enjoy, right? Not totally suffering, right? But the problem is the joy is not permanent. It's still subject to change, you see. Even as a deva, you will die one day. Even though no matter how wealthy you are as a human, but you can't permanently sustain it. Even though the health of your body, the healthy of your body, you can't fully control. And also you can't fully control the people surrounding you, see. So meaning to say that things subject to changing. Well, being in the reincarnation, you have to subject to the changing. And if you don't have the proper perspective to see all these things, you keep on suffering only. But for sage, once they relieve themselves from the reincarnation, they are fully liberated. So no more joy, no more sorrow, because no more reincarnation. Okay, so we have to believe that exists. Okay, so how can we become the sage? Yes, there's the way. Actually, in next chapter, we will go deeper regards the way. How to cultivate so that we become a sage. Okay, so class, always remember that sage is not very far away from us. If you think the sage, the arahant, just like a god, very high above us, and he is so supreme, and it is unreachable for you, then how can you attain? You cannot. So we will try to let you understand that it is they are supreme, but not unreachable. They are reachable, and we are able to attain, especially in Theravada country, Myanmar, Thailand, is their aim for arahant. For them, it is possible to become arahant within one life. Okay, so that is we call it as a sage, and then we are as a worldly people. If we don't have a sage, meaning to say that we don't have a target. We don't have KPI in our life, so it is hopeless. So one day as a sage, and it is attainable, we have hope. We all have hope. Okay. So that's why I just now I suggest you go to Lusan to look for the first patriarch, because the attainment is better than they are the example for us. And we believe maybe they are quite near become a sage. So we need example to support our faith. That's why we have to always visit our senior, just to strengthen the belief that there is a sage and it is attainable in Buddhism. So next paragraph, SJ, can you please read it out? Okay, Junjie, yes, any question?
Just one question. What is the translation of sage to Chinese?
Oh, 圣人, 圣贤.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sifu.
Are you pure banana? Why you ask me the Mandarin? You understand Mandarin, Chinese?
I am. I didn't go to Chinese school, but I do understand Mandarin. Yeah.
How many percentage you can understand?
Uh,
If you read the newspaper, how many
I
percentage?
cannot read newspaper. I can listen. I speak Mandarin at home, so I can.
Oh yes, you speak Mandarin at home.
I cannot read and write. Yeah.
No wonder you reply me the message with a Mandarin inside. I'm quite surprised. I thought you are pure banana. So meaning to say you are not pure anymore. Unfortunately, you are not a pure banana. Okay. Yeah, 圣贤 So Junjie, if you want to write, sage means the 圣人 we can use 圣贤
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sifu.
Yeah. Then one more word you have the is Alohan. Here the sage basically means Alohan. Just write down the terminologies. Okay, last two paragraph. Yes, SJ, can you please read it out? Both worldly people.
Both worldly people and sages have the same mental and physical form. Because worldly people are foolish, due primarily due to ignorance, they are chained to the cycle of birth and death and lack independence. The sages, because of their practice, have attained pure wisdom, primarily through prajna or wisdom. The difference between confused worldly people and emancipated sages should be believed deeply and without any doubts. If one can believe that sages have real wisdom and great power, one can also believe in the virtues of the sages. The 3 insights, the 6 supernatural powers, the 10 forces, the 4 kinds of fearlessness, the 18 distinct characteristics of a Buddha, and so forth. If one can believe in this way, one is practicing the doctrines of the human and divine vehicles. Even though one is not yet able to seek the Buddha Dharma that liberates one from the 3 realms, one can gradually cultivate the seed of the teaching to become liberated from the world. If one does not believe in the sages and their virtues, this disbelief not only disparages the teachings, it plants a seed that leads one to be influenced by deviant teaching and obstruct one's practice. Some people, thinking themselves smart, use their worldly knowledge to judge everything. They assume that because they themselves are not sages and have neither pure wisdom nor supernatural power, all humans must be just like them. It is pitiful that these people are so ignorant. Making such judgment can be compared to trying to use clay to make a vase without putting it through the process of firing. It will collapse when water is put in it or crack when exposed to the wind and the sun. But if it is properly fired, it becomes a porcelain vase that will neither collapse nor crack. If such a simple thing as a vase can be so different after undergoing this process, consider how much greater the change will be for humans. If one practices according to the dharma and is refined by the fire of wisdom or prajna, will one still be the same as a worthy person? One has to have a profound understanding about worthy people and sages to bring forth firm right views.
Okay, thank you so much. Off the mic, please, class. Okay, class, here we talk about the sage. Basically, sage, there's some difference between sage and earth. Number one, they have been liberated, no more reincarnation. Second, they have all six nature of power. Okay, and the third, they have the prajna, the insight. Okay, regard the prajna, please allow me to explain in the next chapter in depth. Basically, the prajna meaning to say that he has the wisdom to see the world in the true nature, but we don't see the true nature of the world. We are living in the conventional truth, the world with the conventional truth, and which is always in the illusion. But for sage, they are able to penetrate. They are able to penetrate the truth behind the illusion. So how do we understand that from the Heart Sutra? Junjie, have you ever heard about Heart Sutra? Right, you heard about Heart Sutra, So, okay, so the homework, you can try to read the Heart Sutra. I'm quite sure you wouldn't understand. Quite sure you wouldn't understand, but it is worth you try to go through because the wisdom of the sage is in the Heart Sutra. Okay, so you can just roughly know it. But from the Abhidhamma way, use a scientific way, I can tell you the sage see thing is in a more microscopic way. Meaning to say that sage, because they possess the jhana, they are able to notice that our human, the human, it doesn't exist. Like me, like Master Kaiyin. Master Kaiyin doesn't exist. For the sage, they're able to see that basically me, Master Kaiyin, actually consists of the materiality and mentality, which is rise and falls. Within 1 second, there will be thousands and millions rise and falls. For sage, they are able to see all this clearly. This is reason why for sage, they will be get themselves trouble. I mean, with all the defilement, without the attachment, they wouldn't attach, they wouldn't angry. Why? The reason they are able to notice that the cell, the I, it doesn't exist. What they see is just the rise and fall of the mentality and materiality in very fast speed. They're able to see it. That is the truth which is discovered by them. So we always mention that this phenomenon as anicca, dukkha, anatta. In English, we call it as a wu chang, ku wu wo, impermanence, okay, and suffering and non-self. That is the truth where the sage notice. When they're able to notice it, that is the wisdom to make them liberated from the reincarnations due to, no more karmic, no more creating the karma. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Leong, question, yes.
Sifu, regarding the virtues of the sages, what are those? Are these 3 insights, 6?
Okay, well, this is the homework for you because time's up already. Yes. But sometimes I don't really want to go deep because some of the virtue, after you understand, you will find that, oh, it looks very far from you. This is the problem. I just want to make you feel that the sages is not very far from you. This is very important. If something is very far from you, you don't have confidence to reach. Okay, so basically the natural power, I think it's quite close. And the rest are a little bit far from you, especially the characteristic. You ask Elena and also ask Sally. Hey, the two characteristic. Better don't know. Am I right, Sally? You better don't talk about that because you end up you don't feel that practical. So I think I prefer talk about the wisdom, especially using the microscopic way to analyze the wisdom of the Arahant. I prefer that Abhidhamma. Okay, so for today's homework, okay, you can just go to the Lusan, okay, class for those who is chanting the Amitabha. You have to understand one more figure. His name is Kumarasuchiwa. Kumarachiwa. Kumarachiwa. Please copy down. He is the translator of the Amitabha Jing, for sure Amitabha Jing. And he is closely related to the Lushan Huiyuan Dashi. So just try to Google the history between both of them. Very worth to study. And this is the mountain. Take a look. So I recommend Elena go to travel this place. This the mountain. The name is as a gazette. It's in Tibet. So he was born here, and he is originated from here. Kumarasuchiwa is Tibetan. No, it's a Xinjiang. Okay, so then later on, the king come to conquer the Xinjiang and bring him back to the Xi'an. The history is very interesting. You can have a look over it. Okay, so that's the